It's a shame that my name you like don't exist. When you see me coming up, making trust, catch my buzz. Watch me win, pay attention, I'm the one you never mentioned. I feature while they hating, speculating about that paper. I feature murder minds, make the fire move on higher. I feature bringing fame to the name, make them change it. I feature while they hating, speculate, anticipate that. Get up, catch it, grab it, let them see it, go it. Never do it, do it, never, ever worry about it. Get up, catch it, grab it, let them see it, go it. Never do it, do it, never, ever worry about it. Never ever let me in, laughing with me like we friends. See, I ain't down with the thing for play throwing Benji man. Because I want the system, shade the system, play the system, beat the system. Look at all the miles on me, cause I'm making history. I feature while they hate and speculating about that paper. I feature burn their eyes, make that fire move on higher. I feature bring fame to the name, make them change it. I feature while they hate and speculate, anticipate. Get up, catch it, grab it, let them see it, go it. Never do it, do it, never, ever worry about it. Get up, catch it, grab it, let them see it, go it. Never do it, do it, never, ever worry about it. Don't you ever stop doing your thing, don't stop, don't quit. Not let you go. Keep on striving, keep on doing your thing, ain't high on the wine. Ever hit your focus. Get the ground, lose focus. Focus. Get up, set it, grab it, let them see it, go it. Never do it, do it, never, ever blow it. I feature while they hate and speculate about that paper. I feature burn their minds, make that fire move on higher. I feature bring fame to the name, make them change it. I feature while they hate and speculate, anticipate. I feature while they hate and speculate about the paper. I feature burn their minds, make that fire move on higher. I feature bring fame to the name, make them change it. I feature while they hate and speculate, anticipate. Everybody's got around now, listen to my part, put your feet on the floor. Everybody fly like you, listen up, turn around and let it all go. I don't wanna hear it cause you're running into some step back home and don't hit to it. Walking on my step because I'm throwing it on purpose and I focus, never ever giving up. Yeah. Okay. Big. This is big. ABC production. What's going on, Conscious Crew? You guys already know what we're here to get into. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. And of course, it is your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV. I hope you guys are having a wonderful... Hold on, man. Hold on. Okay. My throat dry as hell, girl. Okay. I am so tired. You guys know I am exhausted, but I'm pushing through. I don't know what has gotten into me. I feel like I have this like work spirit inside of me. Okay. I don't know what my friend / mentor is over there doing. He might be lighting candles and stuff on me, child, because I done got just as overly saturated in working as he done got, okay? And some of those things are going to come up in this review today. But before we even get into the thick of it, get into the minutia of it, okay? I need you guys to definitely make sure to go ahead and thumbs up this video. You guys know that thumbing up helps with YouTube's algorithm, girl. It helps YouTube to recommend and suggest and advertise for the platform, etc., so that we can continue to grow the platform over here, okay? If you're new here, definitely make sure that you go ahead and subscribe, because if I like it, you're gonna absolutely love it here, okay? Definitely make sure that your notification bell is set to all, because you never know what day or hour the king shall be kinging. And if you don't mind taking it just a little step further, okay, I want you guys to definitely share me out to wherever it is you have digital community at, girl, whether that's MySpace, Your Space, TikTok, TikTok, girl, whether it is
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, girl, wherever you got virtual community at, let them know that your favorite commentator is in the building. With no further ado, girl, let's go ahead and get into this epic review. We finally got a new episode, girl, and we're going to get into all things reading things my way. Okay.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Shout out to all of the Conscious crew members in the building. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, mods. Hey, Ray, what's going on? Cheryl, what's going on? Sherry, Kawana, Jordana, and the missus. Hey, Tina, what's going on? FB, my baby mother, Mo Brown, and Ebony. Thank you guys, and welcome to the platform, child. So you guys know that Dr. Larry Reid, girl, has a reality show, and he's on the second season of what he calls Reading Things My Way. Now, I was exposed to Reading Things My Way earlier this year, I believe, baby. I finally got a chance to see season 1, and I have been addicted since. You guys have got to get into Reading Things My Way, baby, okay? If you are confused about what's going on in the continuity of season 1, you need to get into, in season 2, you need to make sure that you get into season 1, baby. It pops all the way off, okay, and gives birth to everything that's going on in season 2. Now, I know a lot of you guys complain about reality TV, and it's so ratchet these days. It's so toxic and misogynistic and violent. Well, Larry Reid has proved, okay, that TV can be non-violent, non-ratchet, and yet still be ratchet. Okay, and still be entertaining and absolutely hilarious. Okay, and I'm actually impressed that the doctor was able to pull something like this off without going the Zeus Network's route. And shout out to Zeus Network for doing their thing, but you know, there's other forms of reality television where you can still have entertainment, you can still have messaging and wisdom and great representation. And I think I just love everything that the show stands for. I love everybody on the show, and I just cannot get enough of Reading Things My Way. But I do have one bit of criticism for the doctor. I am so sick of us getting one episode per third trimester, okay? You guys need to protest against Dr. Larry D. Reid and tell him he cannot be dropping an episode per 3 freaking months, okay? Just can't do it, honey, okay? That upload time gonna have to be, you guys at least drop 2 episodes a month at least, okay? We know he a busy man and got a church and got a family and got pickles and orange juice and ish to eat, baby. But a new episode every 4 months? Absolutely ungodly and unacceptable, baby. I'm questioning whether he's paper Bible safe or Kindle, okay? Tablet, girl, okay? Windows Gateway computer save, baby, but not paper Bible, okay? Now, that's my only criticism, okay? So, of course, with him being targeted to the party, he gave us a 2-hour episode, okay? Which I feel like makes it up just a little bit, okay? If you're going to take forever to drop a darn episode, then at least, okay, they can be pretty lengthy to make up for old time's sake, okay? So this episode, you guys, it opens up, okay? Let me share my screen here, girl. You know, because you guys know how I like to do my reviews. I like to give you guys a play-by-play, okay? Hold on. And once again, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up if you're in the building, okay? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, okay? So this episode opens up with Lisa and Zoe playing some ball, okay? Because Zoe is into sports. And I really commend Lisa, you guys. Lisa really took us on a journey this episode, okay? I commend Lisa for taking on the task of figuring out how to appeal to both of her daughters based on their personality types rather than hers, okay? Remember, Lisa started the season trying to push Zoe to be more girly and feminine. It seems as though Lisa is awakening and choosing not to project, but to learn and to value who her daughter is as a young woman, okay? Now, this is such an open-minded parenting style, in my personal opinion, okay, that I think goes over a lot of parents' heads who usually have a one-shoe-fits-all attitude when it comes to their children, especially if they have more than one. So big ups to Lisa for doing the work and being humbled enough to adjust to her children's personality type rather than making them center theirs around hers. I think it's important for young people, especially teenagers, to feel that they are seen, understood, and affirmed in their identities by their parents, okay? Parents providing positive reinforcement in who they recognize their children to be, along with guidance, creates the foundation for healthy self-awareness and confidence in a young person who's on their way, okay, to full adulthood, okay? Now, girl, hold on. Where my slideshow at, girl? Hold on. Y'all know we got to get into the play-by-play, child. Okay? Hold on now. Hold on. Girl, it's a lot of multitasking, okay, when you're doing a review, baby, okay? So as they get ready to play some ball, okay, to play some damn hoops, Lisa tells Zoe that she needs her to listen to her feedback during the session. And Zoe, being strong-willed, pushes back against her mom just a little bit by saying, "No, Mom, tell me the feedback at the end." And Lisa says something very profound that can actually be heeded to by our entire society at this point, when she says, "No, feedback at the end is counterproductive. You need to be able to adjust during the game in order to have the best outcome." Yes, okay? If only we did more to adjust as things are playing out, rather than insisting upon our own ignorances and egotism just to end up with a whole pie on our face in the end, it would save us all the trouble, okay, to practice being mindful during the test or trial rather than always having to look back in retrospect with a bunch of regrets. You can curve regretful outcomes by standing in the present moment with sound emotional intelligence when it actually counts the most, okay? Now, girl, get into this gag. Get into this gag, girl. They ended up, child, having to spar against another parent-child couple, Shamaka and his son Joshua, girl. Now, they ain't even through the first ball, and Shamaka already drenched in sweat because he be having them late night cupcake cravings and licking down the cookie dough bowl before going to bed, baby. His body started sweating just from the thought, girl, of being athletic. Baby, the only thing Shamaka was successful at on the court was embarrassing the hell out of Joshua. Okay? Now, Shamaka says the only way for him and Joshua to get anything productive done is by them being absolutely on the same page and the same team. Because when they not in agreement, baby, it's an unholy convocation. Okay? Now, Lisa out there, especially, She out there expecting Zoe to be the first line of defense because she herself can't move that fast. Okay? You know why you can't move that fast, Lisa? Because you got all that big booty that God done gave you toting around with you, hanging all up off your backside, slowing you down on that court. See, that Georgia Peach might have landed her a husband who a millionaire, but her scoring 1 to 16 on the damn court, baby. Okay, it drops the ball on the back end. So Lisa started expressing how Zoe actually reminds her so much of herself, okay? Which I find to be interesting that Lisa is realizing that both her daughters remind her of individual parts of herself. Exaria reminds her of her feminine self, and Zoe reminds her of her masculine self, which you all know every soul's divinity is made up of the divine masculine and feminine, irregardless of sex or gender, baby. Okay? Now, at one point, Lisa just started all out punching and kicking them niggas to get that ball in the hoop, baby. She started illegally weaponizing her military training against the men's on the court to score one, honey. Okay? And I was like, girl, I know that's right, G.I. Jane. Okay? Now, the next scene opens up with Lisa and Exaria going for a morning walk through Buckhead. And they find this little cozy bench to sit upon on a trail they were trailing. But something was smelling pretty foul in the Buckhead air. Now, they know this Atlanta. Because I'm sure had they and would have started looking around and pushed through a few bushes, okay, they probably would have discovered a dead body and realized they were sitting directly on top of a whole damn crime scene while having girl talk nonetheless, okay? Now, child, they started getting into this marijuana conversation because y'all know Lisa and Larry have been struggling to understand Exaria's use of the plant that God had put in the jungles of Africa for us. They want her to be safe and not have any unhealthy dependencies along with doing what's legal, especially since marijuana, okay, is not legal in the state of Georgia. So Exaria starts opening up about what led to her use of marijuana, okay, which was during her bouts of depression. And like a lot of cannabis users, she too used the plant, okay, as a mood stabilizer, like many folk who puff and don't give, okay? I have categorized Exaria as an empath, okay? And I've been categorizing her as an empath since season 1 of the show. So it doesn't surprise me that Exaria struggles with depression and requires an unusual amount of support because her empathic nature, okay? Now, empaths have an unusual capacity for feelings, emotions, and love. Therefore, they require deeper observation and actual intimacy in their interpersonal relationships and support from their support base. Now, the typical cheer up tactics, they don't work on empathic people because empathic people aren't typical people. And the reason Exaria is a daddy's girl is very sensitive and desires a deeper relationship to Larry is because being empathic is the very nature of the divine feminine consciousness itself, which is why her counterpart, the divine masculine, exists so that he can regulate her and draw her out of herself when she begins to drown in the deep seas of her heart and her mind. See, Larry symbolically represents the divine masculine, and this is why Exaria finds herself unusually in need of her father, because he holds the keys to her ability to stabilize her emotions and to experience them intelligently through the power of her intellect and rationale. See, when you have a young male or female who has a large capacity for sensitivity and exhibits a lot of emotion, they need to be around healthy males or females who exhibit the divine masculine so they can learn to exist outside of their emotions rather than existing in them solely. Being an empath, if unguided and unchecked, can lead to the development of mental health issues and substance abuse, because sometimes empaths get so desperate for emotional relief that they reach for what they have access to and what can give them immediate results, which sometimes is drugs, alcohol, or even sexual gratification. Okay. Now y'all know how I gets into the depth, girl, of this empathic stuff, because I'm empathic myself, and so I'm able to relate to Zoe's complexity around her emotionality. Okay, this is a very serious thing, and it's it has a lot of sentiment around it for me, because I can personally relate. Okay, now one of the telltale signs of being an empath, or recognizing one, aside from heightened emotional range and introvertedness, is also heightened interest in sex, drugs, and or food, which are used as coping mechanisms by an empathic person. Healthy lifestyles for an empath typically include exercise and proper dieting, being socially active in community outreach type programs, and having access to healthy males. So if you have an empathic daughter, right, who seems boy crazy, it's not because she's fast or hormonal. It's because for empathic females, they're attracted to the divine masculine that vibrates in the psyche of their male counterparts. This is an energetic and psychic attraction. What the female empath is basically attracted to is her stability. And yes, if the female empath gets close to the wrong masculine energy, it can exploit her severely, which is why I emphasize, okay, that female empaths do need healthy male community. Okay, so don't be surprised if your female empath prefers boys over girls, prefers to be friends with boys over girls. This has nothing to do with them being hormonal or being fast. This is all a metaphysical attraction between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Okay, now look at how Lisa ended up in a same gender loving relationship to a masculine stud. But because that stud was low vibrating, her experience ended up being unhealthy, and Lisa only ended up betraying herself because of her own feminine imbalances. So masculine energy is something that anyone can possess, whether it be trans men, same gender loving women, masculine presenting cisgendered heterosexual women, masculine presenting queer men, or cisgendered heterosexual men themselves. Okay, anybody can possess the divine masculine. Whether their masculinity is whole and healthy is what determines whether the female empath will get the balance she needs or be further injured. Okay, now it does take lucid society and parenting to build the proper infrastructure for an empathic person, which is why I don't blame Lisa or Larry for misdiagnosing or even struggling to understand what Xaria needs, because the general population isn't educated on the existence or nuance of these types of people. So it's a learning journey for everyone involved. And we can only hope that an empathic person doesn't fully self-destruct as their community learns to give them what they require. Now, I know a lot of people say that weed is a gateway drug, okay? But that's a statement said in ignorance. Trauma is a gateway drug, not any particular substance. When there are underlying issues like trauma or type A and B personalities, which are addictive personality types, then you get someone who can be susceptible to addiction. And also, what's considered a drug, it's subjective, as many people are drug addicts. When you consider people who are addicted to being with someone, addicted to shopping, addicted to over or under eating, addicted to power and control, addicted to pain itself. It's just that those things aren't as stigmatized as the substance abuse addictions typically are. And even though they fall into the same category of addiction and can be just as detrimental to a person's life as alcohol, crack, or cocaine can be, they still, for whatever reason, aren't as stigmatized, okay, as substance abuse and substance addiction is. Hookah or even permitting Exaria to smoke is not the answer in and of itself, even though those things can have their place in addressing the issue. But keeping Exaria in solid quality counseling and even getting her direct counseling from an empathic specialist would be unique and healthy for growth and progress for her as a young woman, in my personal opinion. And I think that Lisa is doing a wonderful job at keeping the dialogue open between her and Exaria to talk about her attraction to cannabis and her feelings and thoughts in general. Okay, this is something that, you know, a lot of us as Black and brown people just did not have with our parents. Okay, there wasn't a lot of open exchange and a lot of transparency in that household. So I really big up both Lisa and Larry for cultivating honesty and transparency, okay, in their household. Now, this whole thing with Exaria sneaking away in the middle of the night, I don't understand why they simply don't set an alarm in the house after the parents decide it's bedtime and just don't give the girls the access code so that when the alarm is tripped in any of the doors, that, you know, the town bell can ring. This is a passcode that only Lisa and Larry need to know. And if they don't have an alarm system on the actual house, I think they absolutely should. I mean, of course, teenagers display their rebellion at times in an attempt to experience full independency, but the girls shouldn't be sneaking away. It's dangerous, Exaria, okay, for you to do so. And it endangers your own household to leave the doors open and cracked at night so that you can get back in the house before your mother wakes up and monkey stomps your ass. If I were Lisa and Larry, I'd get a pit bull who is trained to bite the hell out of Exaria's ass after 9 p.m. if it catches her ass outside. I bet you she won't be tiptoeing out the sanctuary no more when they put them pit bulls in the front yards who trained to attack their ass in the salacious midnight hours, girl. That's what I would do, honey. Get some attack dogs and train them to attack Exaria if they catch her outside after 9 p.m. Okay? Now, the next scene, girl, it opens up with Lisa going to visit her parents' grave. She herself is a daddy's girl and was very close to her father. Losing a parent can be very difficult as it feels like a loss of a part of yourself. And me being someone who didn't have my biological father in my life entirely and who eventually also lost my mother to a brain aneurysm, I can empathize with what Lisa feels. But what I can say also is those who have gone ahead into glory are definitely in a much better place, and we ourselves will make our transition someday back home to a world of splendor and perfect love. I personally see death as a transition and transformation rather than a finale. Death is simply the Uber back home. Okay, Lisa, your parents would be proud of who you've become and remain proud as you continue on in your becoming. Okay, now what's fascinating to me is that when Dr. Reid begins to give his thoughts on Lisa visiting her parents' grave, he begins to describe one of her flaws, which is running away from uncomfortable feelings and being a escapist, which is exactly how Exaria is, which is one of the variables that drives Exaria to smoke weed, because she too hates emotional difficulty. So Exaria just copes by smoking, while Lisa copes by beating the hell out of everybody and tearing up all them foreign cars, baby. Okay? Same issue, but different expression, okay, for both ladies. See, our children mirror us in more ways than we even begin to imagine. Typically, parents and children are at odds because they're more alike than not. So Lisa sitting in her pain gives her the opportunity, okay, to address not even to address, but to actually heal and to better understand the emotional experiences that Exaria interfaces with. Okay, this understanding on Lisa's part can lead to providing better tools to Gworrrrl as she learns to utilize them herself. Okay? Now, after Lisa and Shamaka almost struck out from a game of basketball with the youngins, okay, Lisa and Zoe get to chat, okay, about a lot of things, okay. One being their physical altercation from the previous episode. And I love, all caps, I love that Lisa actually asked Zoe for her feedback regarding some of the things that she can improve upon as a mom. See, this was pretty epic for me. And I think it was very humbling of Lisa to actually seek information from the ones who have to experience her actual parenting, which is her children. This trading of information from parent to child to parent keeps, and it helps to promote accountability and establish teamwork between the parties, especially since children and parents are in this thing together anyway, after all. The only thing my parents, told us growing up is either do what I say or I'll FedEx your ass back to Africa. Okay. I also think that asking for a progress report is not only important in parenting, I think it's important in general. I think it's important in romantic relationships. I think from time to time we should check in with our friends and ask them, how am I doing? Am I slacking on the job? Do you feel loved? Do you feel tended to? I think that we shouldn't assume that I don't think we should assume. I think that we should cultivate spaces where we allow our loved ones to be honest, and that I think seeking progress reports helps us to strengthen areas that unbeknownst to us may be weak, okay, because we're just not paying that much attention. So I really appreciate Lisa for asking her daughter, what can I do better as a parent? I mean, that was absolutely freaking amazing. Okay. Now, the family sounds off on how Zoe inconvenienced everyone, not Zoe, how Gworrrrl, okay, inconvenienced everyone when Gworrrrl went missing, okay? And no one knew where the hell she was, okay, because it was supposed to be a family trip, and here everyone was held up and paranoid, okay, about what had happened, okay? Now, Shamaka said even though Gworrrrl is a young adult, he still believes in ass whoopings and wouldn't let being 17 stop him from body slamming a nigga, or at least fierce pinching them all over the neck and arms. Now, Shamaka said, baby, you gonna end up bruised somehow, some way for defying his damn authority. So Joshua, if you're listening, baby, run. Okay? Now, y'all know my eyeballs got wide as all hell, baby. And see, I already knew it was I already knew where we was going, baby. My eyeballs got wide as hell when Lisa asked Zoe about what her sexual orientation was. I was actually clenching my invisible pearls because on previous episodes it was said that Zoe was on the spectrum of bisexuality. So I was curious as to what motivated Lisa to even ask what was already known, unless Lisa is trying to gauge whether Zoe is going through a phase or whether this is something that's fundamental to her orientation. Okay? But the phase thing, let's talk about it just a little bit, okay? There's really no such thing as a phase in the way that we think about it when it comes to orientation, okay? Phase is just the phase era is just one of exploration. But if you're bisexual, you're simply bisexual. Even if you feel more attracted to the opposite sex than the same sex, you may just lessen your romantic and sexual contact with one gender over the other, but your orientation itself never phases out. You only learn about it as you experience it. Now, Zoe said she doesn't identify as anything, okay? And Lisa began scratching her damn wig and asking her, but what does that mean? And as she tried to contextualize her gender identity and sexuality for her mother, based upon how she answered, what I gathered about Zoe is that her gender identity is non-binary, which practically means androgynous. Like myself, she may present aesthetically or in her mannerisms with a mixture of feminine and masculine qualities and clothing, and her sexuality, which is what informs her on who to be romantically or sexually attracted to, is either pan or bisexual. Now, I know y'all may be asking me what the hell is the damn difference between pan and bisexuality, okay? Well, there's a subtle difference between pansexuality and bisexuality, and that is that bisexuality encompasses a attraction between both sexes, male and female, while pansexuality encompasses both sexes, male and female, but also those on the gender spectrum, like transgender men and women and other non-gender conforming individuals, which are people bisexual people aren't typically oriented towards. Pansexual people typically base their attraction to a person on chemistry and commonality rather than sex alone, which broadens the scope of people they may find themselves interested in dating. Pansexuals are probably the most open-minded out of the orientations regarding attraction because they don't limit it to just sex or gender alone. Now, Larry said, girl, what the hell do you want? Sausage or eggs? Well, if she's pansexual, she don't mind either, including a biscuit and some hash browns along with that order. So get into it. Oh, girl. Now, I was gagging at them labeling Zoe's girlfriend as her special friend, air quotes, girl, because it reminded me of back in the day when everyone knew the person was gay, and anytime their partner was around, they would narrate it as Eddie brought his friend to the cookout. Like, it's the attempt at discretion for me, okay? Special friend. I was literally hollering, okay? That's her girlfriend. Go ahead and normalize it, y'all. That's her girlfriend. It's okay to say it out loud. It doesn't make it any less of her girlfriend just because y'all say the special friend, okay? It's still a lesbian entanglement, okay? Now, I like that Zoe told her mama to mind her damn business when her mama tried to get all up in the nooks and crevices of what's going on between her and her special friend, okay? And was establishing boundary, okay? All mama needed to know was that she is happy. Blue, okay? Now, I was a little taken aback by Lisa talking about there being basically a gay agenda out here, okay? Because as overprotected and shielded as her daughter is, even to the point of being homeschooled, she ain't even exposed enough to the world to be indoctrinated by no agenda, which should tell Lisa that this is something that's coming from within her daughter, not from without. Now, the amazing thing about this society we live in now is that people are living and speaking in their truths. And people are able to come to faster conclusions about who they are nowadays, which means that teenagers now have the language to know what's going on with their orientations, thanks to a society that's finally having the conversation, okay? Now, this lack of information is something that Lisa and Larry's generation is familiar with, for they really didn't see queer folk in these volumes during their day. And that lack of information led people to finding themselves and discovering themselves much later in life rather than earlier on, which is a process our generation gets to enjoy the luxury of. So just as Lisa not gonna be gay from being around gay people, Zoe not gonna be gay from being around or seeing queer things. She either is or isn't. You cannot make people attracted to what they are not. Orientation just doesn't work that way. Now, Lisa been dabbling, I feel, in the hotep sector of YouTube, child. Unsubscribe from Dr. Umar, Lisa. Okay? Now, it was funny how Shamaka, baby, okay, was acting like teenagers was supposed to only be delivering pizza and playing PlayStation at 15 and 16, while Larry had just admitted in his previous confessional that he was definitely fully frucking and sexually active at Zoe's age, as most teenagers are sexually active in their teenage years. Now, Lisa and Shamaka just need to come onto my platform and ask questions and have a full disclosure, because neither one of them want to fully admit that they don't understand the gay stuff and kind of don't want their children to be queer if they can help it. Now, Shamaka didn't even really want to speak on it because he didn't want the LGBT community to report his ass to HR for his comments and he lose his pension with the MBN network, girl. But education is wealth, and I want to extend a formal invite to both Shamaka and to Lisa for a discussion right here very soon on this very topic. I think it would be real, it would be honest, and possibly transformative. Okay? Now, this whole thing about Larry, okay, not speaking to Exaria because he's fed up with her, which was kind of true, kind of not. He did give her the silent treatment, but it didn't last, and now they only not communicating because her phone privileges are revoked for the 50 billion 11th time because she's a rule breaker, okay? And so she just literally can't communicate with her papa, okay? But Bishop Bernard Jordan said something powerful to Larry about Exaria, okay? He said that Exaria is a tradition breaker just like him. So that air of selfishness, okay, and persistence in getting one's way that Exaria has, she gets it directly from Larry, who is a loving and wonderful person, but can have tunnel vision and have an air of selfishness about himself too. They both suffer from wanting what they want. So Larry can't stand Exaria's selfishness like Lisa and others have complaint about Larry displaying, okay? Now, Lisa goes into commentary on Larry spending too much time, okay, away since Larry has a second home in Miami, where he does spend the bulk of his time now, which is really because the Atlanta house is more like a work house and doesn't really feel like home. Also, Larry is communicating what his grievances are to his children and to Lisa. It's just that they're not meeting Larry halfway about the way he wants his things treated. And when the people you are communicating to aren't really taking heed, there's no real reason to keep communicating because you sound like a broken record at that point. And the only thing left to do is to remove yourself from being triggered so that it doesn't lead to you hurting the feelings of folk you actually love. So if Lisa wants Larry to communicate, then she also has to make an active effort to give him what he asks of her, which is the whole point of wanting someone to communicate with you. Okay? Now, things get interesting, girl, toward the final scenes of the episode, okay? It opens up with Lisa and Latrice planning a movie night at the house in that big old theater that Larry got down there. Now, Latrice reminds Lisa that she invited her ex-girlfriend's mom to movie night, whom used to be a member of the MBN network, okay? Initially, there was a rift that took place because Latrice and Felicia's daughter started dating and Felicia didn't approve of their relationship, and there was this epic confrontation on a Q&A episode of season 1 between Latrice, her then girlfriend, and Felicia, the mom. Well, since season 1, Latrice and Felicia's daughter broke up, and Latrice and Felicia were able to put the past behind them and pick up their friendship again, even though Latrice makes it clear that Felicia still gets on her last good damn nerve, but that's better than being on her hit list, okay? Now, Felicia begins telling us the freaky variables that came together that resulted in her getting back connected to these crazy people. And now she's a roommate right in the Bryant's household. Larry's family has a very interesting way of putting themselves in these unconventional living arrangements, okay? You got Lisa and Larry co-parenting under the same roof without no romantic or sexual involvement, allegedly. Then you got Shamaka and Latrice living together and co-parenting under the same roof with no hunching, allegedly. Then you got the mom of Latrice's ex-girlfriend living right down the hallway who just wanted to bust a cap in Latrice's ass last season, girl. You know, but I guess love just makes you do strange things, okay? Now, Larry had me hollering, okay, when he said that he hoped Latrice and Lisa done been delivered from their dizzy ass ways. Oh yes, baby. That had me hooping, and that definitely had me hollering, baby. Okay? Now, what we also learned, baby, what we also learned, girl, in this kitchen talk convo between Lisa and Latrice, is that Lisa is dating her old nasty piece of Nigerian man, girl. But taking her time because she want to make sure that he don't Jussie Smollett her ass, okay? She gets to trying to tell Latrice in a Christian kind of way that she got piped down by this man for 2 days, and it was Tony the Tiger, great girl, okay? Then they get the kids, okay, to sound off on how they feel about Lisa dating this Nigerian man. And Zoe says that she wants her mom to keep it to herself so that she ain't got no time to be asking her about her business with her special friend. And Xaria says she wants her mom to do whatever she wants so that she can also do whatever hell she wants. Okay. And then Shamaka said, long as Lisa ain't no lesbian, he don't care what the hell she does. And Latrice also says that she's still looking for her special somebody. And she will find that because Latrice is a gorgeous ass woman. Okay? Now, Joshua says that he don't want his mom dating nobody but his daddy. And I do think Latrice and Shamaka make a cute couple. And if Shamaka be whipping that cake mix, if Shamaka whipping that cake mix is any indication of how he got Latrice pregnant, she might need to reconsider her lesbianism, baby. Okay? Now Shamaka says he don't care. He just want Latrice to be happy, but Shamaka got too much I don't care going on. I got a feeling he got a few more thoughts than that. Y'all know Shamaka don't like talking about his soft parts, child. The episode fully comes to an end with the entire family in the theater room eating cannabis-infused popcorn, watching Boomerang starring Eddie Murphy and Robin Givens, girl. Okay? Now, this was a great episode, child. 2 hours of all these people's damn business plastered all across the internet, girl. Y'all better get into season 2 of Reading Things My Way, episode 5, child. Okay, because you're really missing it, child. This is something that you have to see for yourself. Okay. Now, I need y'all to make sure that you go over and subscribe to Larry's Facebook, Patreon, Instagram, and YouTube platform. All information is listed in the description box below. I think the only person we didn't see this episode was Kendall. Where you at, Nancy? Now, Larry, could you please not take another darn month to give us an episode, okay? And I need the rest of you all to make sure that you got your tickets for this year's Reformation experience coming up, girl, very soon, okay? But you have to be a Patreon member to get exclusive access to this 3-day extravaganza. And if you enjoyed last year's Reformation, baby, y'all ain't seen nothing yet, baby. Okay? Larry done went even bolder. Okay? Pulling off an even more grandiose event for all of y'all. LRLers, baby. So you got to get your arse into the Patreon, girl, so you can get to Atlanta's Reformation experience this year. Tell me what you guys think of this episode. Leave all of your comments below. Make sure that you thumbs up this video. Tell a friend of a friend of a friend about the king and the platform. And also make sure that you go over and support my good friend and mentor, Larry D. Reid. I will see you in the next installment. Peace, babe.